I know. Those darn video cameras, they show everything.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not that closey, shall we say.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Same.
oh, it was like a bad trip to Target.
Yeah. So you said, tell me the story about the news.
The news was hilarious because the first time I ever had to do it, I never have I ever had to speak or be seen. And so anyway, the funny thing about it is you walk through these dark hallways, dark hallways, dark hallways. I don't know what channel it was, but there's like, okay, and go. And they just push you through this door and there's the newscaster behind all the fancy things. And the funny thing is a lot of those people who interview you, they're like 6 or 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like and they're in heels. Yeah. So now they're like 8 feet tall. And they've got the super outfit and 50 pounds of makeup on, and you're just like, you just crawl out some pit. You're like, oh! And then you also don't know where to look because you're like, do I look at you because you're talking to me, but do I look over there? They don't tell you anything. It's just like, and go!
So what was it about?
It was about our fair that we have out in Berryville on the Clark County Fairgrounds. We do a big fair twice a year. And so I can remember at the very end of it, I realized I never mentioned my store. I never mentioned really any relevant things that if you had an opportunity as a business person, you might have brought up. I learned a lot. You learn fast.
It's a good learning lesson,
that's right? That's right. Just jump off the cliff. You'll be fine.
So speaking of store and the fair, tell me a little bit.
So I'm the old Lucketts store. Mm-hmm. In 1996, it was an abandoned building, and we fell in love with it. I had a little shop up the street called My Wits End that I had for several years. I saw that building. It was just an abandoned building left in an estate, kind of. I had like a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and I was pregnant with another one. And it was, I think March of 1996. By August of 1996, I had the baby in July. We had restored the building and we opened in August because there was like a little county fair across the street at Lucketts Elementary School or Lucketts Community Center. And we wanted to try to be ready for that. So 1996 was a very big year, a very busy year.
I'm sure you learned a lot.
I learned a lot. It's always about learning a lot. All about the corrections. What else can I do? Yeah.
1996. So it's been
27 years.
7 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And your place now is like a go-to spot.
It's a thing. Well, yeah, it does appear that way.
We know during the holidays,
we're always like, be nice and do a good job.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And we all almost psychotically love what we do. Yeah. We love buying stuff, we love selling stuff, we love finding something you've never seen before, we love surprising you, we love you. We love the whole transaction. And literally, we never get tired of it. So it's taken that kind of vibrance and energy from a core group of people most of my people have been with me a good bit of that time.
And I'm going to add something else you love, because I can tell whenever I'm there, is creating an experience for people.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because you can go out there during the holiday times and it's just an experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a whole fun day. Well, there's just not a lot of that anymore that's homey and actually real and just by regular small people and not a big super commercialized thing or whatever. It's just old school, small town. I have people... the entire holiday season, what else can you do? How can it be bigger? And it's just like, no, man, this is what it is. Even my own son this year was like, can't we do something else? Because we'll get just so many phone calls all day and emails of people who want more. But the reason it is charming and sweet and wonderful and a nice experience is that it's just that.
What do you mean they want more?
They want, more people, photographers want to come and spend the day.
Time. Yeah.
It's a thing, because when you get too many people in, then it's not what it was. We do it for our customers. We do it for the people who want to be there for that, Our holiday house is a ticketed thing, and we could sell twice as many tickets as we do. On demand, but we don't want to do that because we want it to be a nice experience for everybody who's there. So then it's like, well, how can you make it bigger? Well, if it's bigger, then it's not the same anymore.
Yeah. It's nice that you know that balance.
Yeah.
Because as a business owner, it's so easy to be like,
oh, you
let's
always,
figure
well,
that out. Yeah.
it's a built-in entrepreneurial thing. You always want more. It's societal. You always want more. More. But I'm realizing as I age, and I have a really great business partner who's about, no, like typically we would be wrapping up like some of our big holiday house stuff this weekend because we want to have a holiday.
Yeah.
We've been doing this now hard, like working almost 7 days a week for 5 weeks. And right before that was our fair. So we worked 7 days a week right before that.
Gosh.
So we've been going hard on all this stuff for quite a while. So we want a break. So it's like,
can't you just move like Christmas to like July or something?
Well, we're building out this Christmas
Because
stuff
in July.
It starts in June.
I was
We're
gonna
receiving
say.
the stuff. We're
Wow.
pricing it. We have a barn full of ladies that price all summer long. And then the building of the house starts in June and July. And it takes that long to do it, you know.
Oh, man.
And then Lucketts as well. Lucketts starts becoming all Christmased out
Yeah.
right after Halloween because I can't bear to put Christmas out before Halloween.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't care
like a
what.
rule.
I don't care. No. I don't care what. I don't care. It's not happening. Let's honor a moment of October and November and fall and the beauty of that, you know? And is it the smartest business move in the world? No, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I just can't sink into that. It's just, it's not nice to say, but I was in Cracker Barrel. I went to a flea market. There's a Cracker Barrel right there. In July, they had Christmas out. And I was
Probably
just
that
like,
Christmas in July.
that ain't right.
That's where you draw the line in
That's
sand.
right. Yeah, that's right. July. Yeah.
So how do you see things panning out in the next 10, 20, 30 years?
Oh, well, I'm 63, so 30 for my business or for myself?
Both.
It's an interesting question because the fact is I really love what I do. So I see doing it till I literally can't do it anymore. I mean, I have moments of being like, you know, I could sell all this and do quite well. It's a nice piece of property on a busy highway, blah, blah, blah. But I love what I do so much. And I just think it's special because it is a dying breed that is willing to be old school. I had a bunch of people say, it was cute actually, oh my God, like they handwrite their tags, they handwrite their receipts. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a QR code situation here or whatever, scanning situation. We're just never going to be that, ever. And yeah, until I literally can't do it anymore, I'm going to keep doing it because I think it's what keeps me vibrant.
I'm gonna say young.
Yeah.
You've got like young energy. You've
Oh,
got
yeah.
like 19-year-old young energy.
Yeah, it's shocking. I mean, I think I was like a psycho then. I don't think I could like rein it in, but now at least know what the focus is. So that's helpful. Yeah.
What are some of the like special stories or special experiences that you guys have created out there? Have you ever had anything?
One of the things I love just in general is that we really are like a big family out there. I mean, we genuinely are. And it's like, there's something really special about that. Like my gang, like we all need a moment because it's a lot. You know, this holiday season is a lot because we do work a lot, but it's like 2 days off or whatever. Like you can't wait to get back. It's the opposite of most jobs. Like it's the thing we like to do the most. And I think there's something so deep and profound in that we all care about each other. We would never let anything happen to each. I don't know. It's just rare anymore.
Created a community, it feels like.
It's a real community, yeah. And to me, that's a pretty big deal. And I think I've learned over the years, too, like the thing about being a good leader, I think I used to be to try to do everything, but I learned about being a good leader is just simply bringing out the best in everyone around you and you not overly controlling everything. Let things be. And have faith and trust in the people around you that they're going to do a good job. And don't micromanage, don't get into any of that. Just let them be their best selves, you know. And it ultimately comes out. And we've had people who like, I loved them, but I couldn't figure out, like let's just say they weren't the best behind the counter. But I knew they were wonderful. And it's like just evolving into what is their best fit. And there's quite a few people who have really come into themselves via working there, which is pretty great. Yeah.
I love that.
Nice to
I
see.
do have a question though.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when it's not a good fit? Or have you ever had any of those
if I'm being really
situations?
honest, I have what I call the fast phase out.
The
fast phase out.
Fast, okay.
Yeah.
They said fast.
Oh yeah. No, the fast phase out. You're just kind of like, this just is not working at all. Like there's no energetic connection at all. They don't get us. They don't understand that we're a little organic in how we operate and this and that. And it's just, your hours become less and less. And then we're just like, we're good.
Fast phase. Got it now, how that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rarely do I ever, I'm like, you're fired or anything like that. We've had a few. This is not vibing, man.
All right. So if your hours are being cut week by week, no.
Yeah, it's probably on the phase out zone. Yes. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
No, and that's such a hard conversation, but I always like to ask business owners that because it's something that other business owners, as they're hiring team members, as they're trying to grow that community, and by one way or another, like the wrong apple got into the bunch there.
And I've made mistakes over the years for sure that people I should not have let stay. They were a weak link. And what I really realize now is I did not honor the rest of my staff.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. It's not like, and I'm like, sometimes I'm from South Jersey, so sometimes I can be, watch it, you're going to get it. But I'm also kind of a pushover. So I have somebody who's kind of always given me a little bit of pushback. Sometimes I've allowed that, but now I realize that I didn't honor the rest of my staff.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Dude, get rid of her." I had many gifts. COVID brought many gifts in that regard. That let us clean house. Like it took us all the way back to me, really, 100%. Everybody was gone and trying to navigate that,
So you lost everybody?
Everybody, well, they just couldn't come to work, obviously, and so on and so forth. Some left. Some just, obviously we couldn't be open. It was a crazy navigation of what to do. I never worked harder. I don't think I worked that hard since I opened when COVID hit, because you just didn't know what to do. But it was interesting because one morning I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, right when that was all starting. And I was like, somebody has to have some suggestions about this. Like literally, there's no cars on Route 15. Everything is closed. Nobody's anywhere. And to be honest with you, I'm not a big newsie, so I really wasn't paying that much attention to what was going on. I'm just living my life. And I just Googled like 4 a.m., like, what are business leaders saying to do? And it was interesting. It was Mark Cuban. He was like, pivot. If you're a small business owner, you need to pivot. You cannot disappear. You cannot become irrelevant. We don't know what's going to happen, but you still need to remain alive. And so we switched on to online sales. It was all anybody could do, really. And it went extraordinarily well. But when you have a store like mine, basically what you normally have is thousands of items that hundreds of people per weekend, let's just say, or even during the course of a week, let's say, hundreds of people come in. So hundreds of people are seeing thousands of items. When you go online, tens of thousands of people are seeing one item at a time. And it was like, we posted a farm table and it was sold in like 30 seconds. And we were just like, oh, okay. And then we like post a chip, oh, it's sold. But now you have to photograph it, measure it, describe it. So the effort toward versus people just wandering through and seeing this sofa became a lot more effort. And it was selling so fast that we needed to then come up with a system, because all of a sudden everybody hated everything in their house.
Yeah, because they were staring at it for too long.
So that was a wild ride. It was and then one person came in to help me because I'm really good at the energy and I'm really good at like, let's do this. But the follow through and the organizational thing, not my strong suit.
I could see you being the person though on camera.
Yeah.
Have you seen the thing where there's I don't know which country, I don't know where it was, but it was somebody that was selling items, and she would just hold it for a second and then do this, and they would sell as soon as she picked it up and like sell.
Yes.
I could see you being that person.
I could probably do that. I could probably
jumping up on the table.
Yeah, like,
look at how stable this is.
Have you seen this? Yeah, I could do that. That's a good idea. But anyway, but then as people started coming back, we had to navigate how were we managing this, because it was crazy. It was like, then it became like also crazy because it was almost like people were battling for the stuff. You know, it sold so fast that then people became obsessed with our site. So then I allowed all my vendors to take pictures of inventory they may have had in their barns at home and send it to me. I post it, it sells, they get it to the shop, customer. We did a whole remote pickup thing where my guys were just outside. You pull up, they shove it in your car, you're gone.
Nice.
Yeah. But it helped me weed out the staff that I didn't need anymore, that weren't serving me, the ones that really needed to go. Because that is the hard part when you are like a family.
Yeah.
It's even harder when you've got to weed people out. Yeah.
Yeah. And was it because the duties had changed, or because you needed more grit and put in more effort, and some people just weren't willing to do that?
Both. I just had a few that really shouldn't have been there anyway, that I just didn't have the fortitude to get rid of them, and they needed to go. And then they went on their own.
Yeah.
They just went and found something else to do. Yeah.
You're like, oh.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're moving. Terrible situation.
So that basically took care.
Yeah, that took care of a lot.
Yeah, took care of itself.
Then we rebuilt even stronger and better. Yeah.
Awesome. So the internet was a magic button for you. Magic
button. And really, I'm learning now too. You have to pivot so much, and you have to be. The times have changed dramatically in 27 years, and I'm realizing even after all that, we navigated all that. Everything was great. This was the best year we ever had, by a lot. 20 and 21 were crazy, but then everybody stopped buying furniture. Even this past year, just stopped, because I think so much had been spent during that time.
I was going to say, why?
So it can't keep going. And you start realizing, oh, okay, but we're Lucketts. But we're Lucketts store. Doesn't everybody love us?
Yeah.
No, you still have to stay nimble. You still have to keep fresh, and you still have to keep. And we dropped way off because we had done so well during that time. And then when COVID, started to phase out, people started coming in droves that had never been there before because they heard about it via all that. And that was great. We couldn't keep up. So then we pulled way back on, we couldn't keep up. Really, we didn't need to do it anymore because everything was still going well. And then this last year, it was like we had cut back to 4 days a week, all that. Everything changed yet again. It was like people stopped buying furniture. People weren't just wandering out, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm sure it'll be better soon. I'm sure that'll change any time now. And a lot of the shops around me are just like, we don't even know. I mean, it's just like dead.
Yeah.
And then I realized it took me a while to not be like, again, it's kind of funny when you work so much, you're like, oh God, it's kind of nice to have a break for a minute. But you got to put your boots back on.
Yeah.
You got to put your boots back on.
Take a breath and then
put your boots back on and get back in the game. So we went back to being open 7 days because my brain went to, okay, what would Mark Cuban say now? What would he say if I don't even have to look at him? What would he say? And in my mind, he's, first of all, you have 30,000 cars a day going by your store and you're closed 40% of the time. Open back up. We were closed because we would use that time to reset the store and da-da-da-da-da. And people were coming like, can I come in? And we're like, no, we're closed. Well, that is really terrible.
How did your staff react to that when you said, you know what, we were 4 days, now we're going to be 7?
They got it. They
they were okay with it.
They got it. My crew is like family. They're just like, okay, because we could see in the very beginning of that, nobody was coming because we had trained them that we're closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Then we had to retrain. We're open 7 days a week,
Yeah.
And during that time, we had also kind of got lazy on the online store stuff. And it was just like, nah, it's fine. Again, we're looking.
Yeah.
And now I realize, comically, because it's so obvious, myself included, everybody just looks at their phone all the time.
Yeah.
If you want to be relevant, that is the number. People don't just go meandering at old-timey, not old-timey, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If you live in the DC metro, if you live in Sterling, Lucketts is like not on your mind.
You're not driving by it.
No, you're not driving by it. Absolutely not. And the ones that are driving by it on their way to work and on their way home from work, they're on a mission, And so I was like, we have to completely become relevant online again. So this year will be our big push to kind of transition back into that. And what we learned was when we did start doing it, we did it in the early fall, but our big fair happened and then the holidays happened and we're so crazy. It was hard to put all the energy we needed into it. But when we were doing it, what was happening was people would just come in with their phone. They didn't, the percentage bought it online, say 50%, but the other 50%, it drove them to the store and they wanted to see the item. That's even better because it drove them to the store, So we're like, okay, now we're like,
what's the game plan, at least for the next year or so.
Yes. And my sons are involved in the business too. Obviously, they're young, in their early 30s, so they're way more adept at all that. So I'm going to start really leaning in them into that aspect of the business. I can keep procuring I like buying.
You know what I think you should do? I would love to see you do the whole the sales, just test it.
Yeah.
Where it's a segment, let as many people as know about it, where it's going to be a live, type of selling auction show, not auction, show.
Yeah.
And then you literally have 30 seconds with each item.
Yeah.
You've got 50 to 100 items and just for fun during a slower time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
With all your spunky energy.
Yeah. Yeah, that I can do. I can do that. I can buy endless stuff. Get
your shopping fix.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. I could totally do that.
That's so fun. And I love how honest and real you are about the business. And
you have to be.
Well, most people, a lot of people really struggle with that part though, because they, like you said, but it's Lucketts.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, I'm 63 and I say it all the time. I love being this age and I love being this age because I feel like all bets are off. You get it. You get the whole picture now. You get life a little better. You've learned your life's lessons. Not that it's over, but you get it. And you need to be honest. And you need to help people with your honesty. You need to help fellow business owners. You all need to just get real with stuff and not be so withholding. I used to be. If you want to ask me all these questions 20 years ago, whatever, I'd be like, oh, no, everything's great. That's not true. We all have our struggles,
Yeah, I feel when you're younger, you're trying to put together the puzzle piece, but you're right here on the puzzle. Yeah. And then the older you get, the more you can see more and be oh, it's a wider picture and I know where all the pieces fit and I'm not going to
That's right.
Pretend it's just about.
Right. That's exactly right. And why? Why pretend anyway? Yeah. Why pretend anything? Ego. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it comes to ego.
I had one yesterday that was just funny. It's funny. It's funny to even say it here, but I'll say it anyway, because old me would have not addressed this the same way as me now. Is when I'm having a little dinner with some of my staff tonight, and I was inviting just the core staff that's always there. We have a lot of extra holiday staff come in. And I was like, I want to do a nice thing for my core staff. And I always forget somebody because I'm an idiot. Just like somebody, I'm like, I can't believe I forgot her. And I did it again. And somebody who's kind of new to the core staff. So it wasn't as on my mind. And I forgot. And it's today. And that was yesterday. And I just said it. I said, you know what? This is what I did. And I'm really sorry. I do it every year. This year it's your turn.
You're new.
And I don't want to withhold that because then it seems like I intentionally didn't invite you, Yeah. And me now is I truly am sorry. And I want you to know you're more than welcome and I want you to be there. I love her. She's phenomenal, Yeah. I would never, ever want her to think otherwise. But it's easy to be like, oh, awkward. What am I going to do now?
Yeah.
Just let the guard down.
Just let the ego go. And people will respect you more, I feel like.
Yeah.
The right people will respect you more because They understand the intention.
Exactly.
Rather than...
Well, and we all screw up.
Yeah.
Another day, that person is going to screw up. You know, we all screw up. We all, you know, it's just like, I was just reading a thing this morning about feeling awkward at a party. Oddly enough, like, I can feel awkward at a party. I'm a very outgoing person, and but if it's a certain vibe, I'm just like, you know, and I feel awkward. And remembering half of the people there feel awkward. And and being like, more like, they all feel just like I feel.
Yeah.
And that helps. Yeah. We're all in all this together, right?
That's right. We're all little awkward ducks trying to
navigate all kinds of craziness. Yeah. So don't worry about it.
I just love that you're dressed like a little Christmas tree today.
Yeah. Too. Well, our little party site, and we're all gonna get together and do a fun like little video clip and group Christmas card picture and in one of our settings today, so that we can post it at Christmas time.
I will say I have been out there to do some Christmas pictures before. Like your spot is a
pretty
perfect.
Cute. It's cute.
Holiday.
Yeah.
Do you guys do like a charge for photos?
All of our customers and everybody that's coming for our store, no, absolutely not. They can come and take pictures. We help them take pictures. I usually have staff outside because usually one of the family members or they're trying to do this. So I usually have people outside that can help them during our busiest times. The only thing we don't do, and we don't do it purposefully, because it didn't go well. People have admonished me about this, but they don't understand the true background of it, is photographers coming. They would not ask. They would book sessions all day long, every 20 minutes. And they would block up our entrances. They would hog up our scenes. They never asked permission. They would take up all our parking. They were rude. There were all the things that we don't want to be.
Yeah.
And our people couldn't take pictures. And they were fairly aggressive, you know. You couldn't get in the house. You couldn't get in the barn. You couldn't get... And one day we were just like,
how many years ago was this?
Not that many.
Really?
Yeah. And I've seen lots of things written about us on Facebook saying how or Instagram, whatever, you know, how we're the worst. And it's just like, okay, you can say whatever you want. I don't care at all. You know, it's not about you and what your needs are. If that's your business and you want really cute scenes, go build one.
Go do it, I was going to say, something you could do, not that you want to do it, but something I would do, because we're a photography studio, is I would say before the season starts, depending on when it's all finished. I know you guys are probably, you know, working, like you said, since June, putting it all together.
Yeah.
But before you really have a busy influx, say, yes, you can. It's $500 an hour.
Yeah.
For you to come out here.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah.
And then just charge it. That way, if anybody does show up with the professional thing, be like, you're more than welcome. It will be $500, even if it's 30 minutes, but up to an hour.
Yeah.
They will quickly go find another place.
Yeah. Well, you know what it kind of boiled down to, too? Just managing it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I had some photographers say, oh, you could do this and that and sessions, and we're willing to pay this and that and the other thing. And it's just... we're busy doing what we do.
Yeah.
And then it's like, do I want to manage your problem? Not really.
Yeah.
It's not my problem, which is another great learning. What is and isn't my problem?
What is, help the audience understand what is and what isn't your problem.
Well, and there's a perfect example. Your photography business's backdrop is not my problem. My business at Lucketts store and making my customers have a great experience, that is what I'm about. Yeah. What your business is doesn't have anything to do with me, you know, like that. Like learning, I'm not being a jerk. It just doesn't have anything. And I don't want to manage what you want your backdrop to be for your photography business.
And the audacity.
I want to manage what my customers experience.
And the audacity of a photographer to come in and even leave a negative review or even say anything bad. Is actually really horrible because
it was surprising.
It's private property.
Right.
They're coming onto it.
And to the level of how brazen it got was shocking.
Yeah.
Was absolutely shocking. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. On behalf of photographers, I apologize for the bad apples.
So we just chopped it and then we took some slack for a while, but now we're like...
Do you have like the big signs that's like...
No. We just, they'll write us or, you know, whatever. And we just say sorry.
Sorry, but no.
Sorry, not sorry.
I love it. In terms of other lessons that you've learned along the way, is there anything that pops out?
Let's see. That's a great question because I've learned so much. I've learned sometimes it's like until you start talking like
about it, and
about
you're like, oh
furniture,
yeah.
about always be your very best to your customer. Like really, you have to truly care.
You've got some like hard like lifers there that
Yeah, we
just
got some
love.
lifers.
Yeah.
Well, we really care about them, and I want you to have a great experience. Like, and I don't want you to ever think I'm trying to get anything. Like if you take something home and it's not now to an extent where we do not.
Like if I come back 5 years later and I was like, yeah, it doesn't quite fit.
Yeah, right. Like that. Exactly. And
hopefully that hasn't happened.
Really on a case by case basis. I have a funny one that a lady, we sell new things too. I mean, the furnishings, we used to do the design house every month where the holiday house is now. We don't do that anymore. But a lot of that merchandise is now in the lower level because a lot of our new homes in the area, how do I say this? Like, you need both to have a balanced house. You're not going to find some of the things that you need for your home in an antique store. Even the giant dining farm tables and stuff we sell, you're not going to find an 1800s one. You're just not. And if you do, it's going to be $20,000, you know? So we're trying to strike that balance so you can have this certain look, integrate the old and the new. But so I had a lady one day, we represent it as such. We never say anything's old that's not old. We always try to be as honest and true to everything. But she got a table and we delivered it to her and she was absolutely certain it wasn't the table that she bought. And it wasn't. The one she bought was still on the floor and this one was in our warehouse. So we went back, we left her, she had that table. We went, we got the other table, we brought it to her, we set it up right next to that table. They were identical. And then she was like, oh, sorry. But you have to do that with a plum for your customer to be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You just needed to know, we know it's the same exact table, and we would never do that to you. And it was far. We had to go far.
I was about to say, I don't know whether or not you did this or not, but if you didn't charge a travel setup fee, just for her to say.
If it happened all the time, I would. But when they're like one-offs like that, you just suck it up and do it.
Yeah,
you just do
I'm the same way.
You do it.
And then when I see there's a pattern, I'm like, okay, we need a policy that way.
Exactly. That's right. You determine when you need it. Yeah, my son says all the time, he says, I can see why like big companies have policies. Maybe we need to look at that.
It's like if it happens over 3 times, I first internally see within this business, are we creating this problem? Like,
right. That's
is there something in the process that we need to make sure that we're not?
That's right. And there's trickiness to when you sell online too, because I personally, it's very hard to buy anything from a picture. I don't care what it is or what the picture, it's hard because the scale is always a little different. The tonality is, no matter how good you are at that photography and how good of a job you do, it's a little, and I buy stuff, I'm on online auctions, the companies, I try to see, feel, touch, sit on, jump on, everything as much as I can, but I can't always. And I'm still like, oh, man, So when we were only selling online like we were during COVID, it was really a challenge because we would have every measurement. I still think like a person needs to be near it so you can really see
the scale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do agree with that. And plus, you have to remember, even if your colors, because as photographers, we make sure that our colors are like perfect.
Yeah.
But if you're viewing this photo on your phone that has some different color profile on it or a computer.
It's different. That's right.
The orange is going to look red or...
100%.
Yeah.
When we're doing auctions, which the bummer for a lot of us old school folks who have done auctions forever, most of them, that was another COVID gift for some businesses, is that they went online almost exclusively. And some of them, you can preview, but some of them are far away and this and that. And I can tell you so many auctions, everything I bought, I wished I hadn't bought. And everything I didn't buy, like when you go to pick it up, you're like, oh,
I saw that. I should have bid on it.
That looked completely different online. Yeah, so that's a challenge. But navigating, but I so don't want anybody to ever think I'm trying to get anything over on them or that I don't honor them. And you have to balance out, some people are a little I remember being at my mom's once, and like all of her neighbors in their little retirement community, like their whole hobby was buying stuff from Home Goods and taking it back.
Why?
Just because it's just what they did. It was just a hobby. They were all retired, and they wanted to see how it looked in their house and have it for a minute and then return it. Like they never planned on owning it. And you have to be careful how you navigate that world.
Mine's the opposite problem is I buy things from Home Goods and then decide it doesn't fit and then just sits in a corner because I lost a receipt or something.
Oh, yeah. I know. I never return anything, ever. I'm just like, oh, well, my bad. I messed up.
Well, at least you've got a space you can sell it now.
Yeah, that's right. You kind of can. Yeah.
Last couple questions.
Yeah.
What type of music do you listen to?
That's a great question. I won't be able to spell this for you, and my sons are really good with music. There's a band called Kroonbin. It's like Kreuhgbin. It's something like that. Kroonbin is phenomenal in that it's super cool. It's back. I don't like to bother people with music. I don't think that's fair to their experience. Now, my girls play a lot of 70s like funk they're like all day, keeps them going. We've been getting hollered at for not having Christmas music. We're like, we'll play it soon. Don't worry. But I like things that don't affect you. Like I remember I listened to a talk once from Chef Patrick in Little Washington, and it was such a great talk because he talked about the theater of a restaurant. And I believe retail is a theater as well. Your smell, what you're hearing, the lighting, what you're seeing, the whole experience, how you're treated, obviously, is kind of like a theater. And you have all different folks in there. You know, so you have to be mindful. And I've learned when we play Kroonbin, for example, you have to put it on so you can.
I'm gonna have to go figure it out.
You feel cool. You just feel like, oh, okay. And we'll probably get asked 10 times a day, what's playing?
Yeah.
And they want to know. And they have to take a picture of the name because it's hard to spell.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah. So you want to have this feeling. And if you are 20 years old or 70 years old, you don't want to be invaded upon by the music.
Yeah.
I really don't like when I go out to eat and the music is like, and there are places around here like heavy metal. I'm like, why would you play this while I'm eating?
Yeah.
You know, and it makes me want to leave.
Yeah.
So you have to be mindful to be, I don't know.
Considerate
of who's shopping.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And that one nails it every time. And we never get tired of it. Yeah. I don't even know how to tell you what kind of music it is. I don't know how to describe it.
We're going to have to go look it up.
You're going to have to look it up.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll find my phone one more time.
And then my last question is, what type of message would you give the world?
Oh, I have a little speech I give. If you allow me this, I'll give it to you. It's not too long. I had this realization lately because I love things about where we are in the world today and where we are together and why there's so much, everybody just seems a little stressed out, or no, not everybody, but the feeling in the air. And I'm kind of interested, a little bit evolutionarily how we got here, And this is the first time I've ever said this to more than one person at a time. But I believe in it wholeheartedly. That when you look back just a little bit, for 30,000 years as a species, we were hunter-gatherers. For 10,000 years, taking us into the 1800s, we were farmers. 30,000 years, we lived a certain way. 10,000 years, we were farmers and we lived on the land. And then everything started to change. That was a couple hundred years ago, not that long. In the last 50 years, everything's changed dramatically again. In the last 25 years, dramatically again. My feeling is that we're having a hard time adapting and adjusting. We can't see that we're so in the middle of such dramatic change because we're living it, so we can't see it. So therefore, all of the crazy changes, all of this, and us looking at, the millennials, everybody's lazy, everybody's this, everybody's that. No. We're in the middle of a massive change in our society. And we're just trying to navigate it the best that we can. And it all boils down, as cheeseball as this comes out as, is we just have to love and respect everyone, because we're all in this very unique time together. And instead of judging anybody for anything, we genuinely have to love and respect them and just be like, come on, come on, let's hold hands, kumbaya, it's gonna be okay. Because we can't, it's hard for us to see it, but when you just zoom back a little bit to those few facts, when I have a little spare time, I keep trying to add to that. Like, I just started learning more about the industrial age, and then how to get us, like, fast forward to this, to give the big picture of that and where we really are, and then understand, everybody, I feel the dis-ease is because it's so dramatic and so fast. We're just having a hard time because we're in the middle of it, you know? And just take a deep breath and just stop with the judgment of anybody and just love and respect. Yeah.
It's a good message.
Yeah. I believe it so wholeheartedly. When I finally really got to the why we need to love and respect and stop the judging, it just was like a absolute arrow through my heart. Like, I got it now. I got it.
The why being because we're in the middle of it and it's hard to...
Yeah. It's hard to see that.
Yeah.
But zoom forward a couple hundred years, and when we look back on this, we'll be like, oh, wow, that was dramatic. Yeah. So when I have my little, times with my friends and people, I was just at this retreat, and I gave that speech to a little group of people, and they were just like, dang, I never really thought about it that way.
That's kind of my response, so...
None of us have, but it's helpful. It's helpful. And I'd like to learn to be more helpful. You know, there's an old meditation, and it's just, how can I help? And you're like, that's a good meditation,
What do you mean it's a meditation?
It's just when you just are being quiet and shut your eyes and meditate, that is your mantra. How can I help? That is it. And every one of us has a ways we can help. And for me, because I do have a big mouth and I do feel very, I don't know, I feel compelled to help. And it's like, I feel like that's a message I would like to spread in the simplest way, because we all have a short attention span.
That's true.
Right?
It's such a beautiful message.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Sprinkling your little love bits for all of us.
Yeah. It's important. It's important, so.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.